Well, hello, my loves, and yep, I had a day where if it could go wrong, it will go wrong. This is one of those days, okay? So far, anyway. I'm here today because I'm going to do a review with you for your test on Thursday. Because this way, the ladies that have to take the exit exam tomorrow will already have all of the information they need and they won't have their mind crammed. So, this is a review for your test on Thursday, all right? Premed and intro. Blood is composed of a liquid portion that's called plasma. You have three types of blood cells: erythrocyte, red blood cell; thrombocyte, platelet; and leukocyte, white blood cell. Erythrocyte is a red blood cell, leukocyte is white blood cell. Leukocytes fight infections. Hemoglobin gives blood its red color. Remember, it's abbreviated HGB. Thrombocytes are also called platelets because they're shaped like a plate, they're round. Blood clotting depends on the thrombocytes. Four main blood groups: A, B, and O. All right? AB is the universal recipient, they can receive any kind of blood. And O is the universal donor. O donor. Vitamin K is necessary for blood clotting. And what organ is near the stomach that helps with blood cell storage and elimination and production? That is the spleen, all right? Lymph capillaries. Now, we didn't get too much into lymph, but there's not much of it on the test. This one is. Lymph capillaries carry lymph from the tissue spaces to lymphatic vessels. What is lymph? Lymph is a clear fluid, all right? You have lymph nodes all over your body, and they kind of react in the face of an infection, all right? Okay, leukemia is an excessive increase in white blood cells. Anemia is a deficiency in hemoglobin and red blood cells. Lymphosarcoma is a malignant tumor of the lymph nodes that resembles Hodgkin's disease. It resembles it. Hemoglobin is the blood protein that carries oxygen. Remember, red blood cell, biconcave, oxygen, hemoglobin, it all nutrients, it all hitches a ride. That's how it's going to go. Coagulation time is the time it takes for a clot to form in a test tube. Remember, coagulation is a longer word. So this is going to be a longer test. This one's 15 minutes in a test tube. Bleeding time is the time it takes a small puncture to heal or plugged up. Like when my husband does the stick for his diabetes, all right? It just plugs right up. Leukocytes are their primary function is to fight infection. Now, I don't want to say anything, but I got something in this eye, as you can see. Here we go. Universal donor is type O. Universal recipient is type AB. Human blood falls into four groups. What do you have? A, B, AB, and O. Hemoglobin abbreviation is HGB, capital H, little g, and B. Hematocrit on the test, it's spelled wrong. It should be HEMATOCRIT. Hematocrit is abbreviated capital H, little c, little t. White blood cell, come on, WBC. Complete blood cell, that's wrong. It should be complete blood count. Lord, these mistakes. Complete blood count is CBC. Red blood cell is RBC. And remember that acquired immune deficiency syndrome is AIDS. Syndrome means it just has a whole lot of symptoms with it. All right, that's what a syndrome is. All right, blood clotting is a complicated and essential process that depends in large part on what type cells? Thrombocytes, platelets. Remember, they clog up the blood. Another name for a red blood cell is erythrocyte. Lymph capillaries carry lymph from the tissue spaces to what vessels? Lymphatic vessels. You got to stay in the lymphatic system. The organ near the stomach that helps with blood cell storage, elimination, and production is the spleen. My hair looks terrible. Sorry about that. This vitamin is necessary for blood to clot. Vitamin K. Remember, every newbie, including you. You, yes, you got a little dinky in your thigh before you even came out of the delivery room, all right? Or even before your mama held you. So that was vitamin K, because we didn't know if you had hemophilia. All right, here we go. Rapid fire. Excessive increase in white blood cells is leukemia. Deficiency in erythrocytes and hemoglobin. Well, if you got a deficiency in red blood cells, you're going to have a deficiency in hemoglobin, and that is anemia. And a clot or other substance, it can be a piece of fat or a piece of plaque that falls off of a blood vessel. A clot or other substance that suddenly blocks a blood or lymph vessel, that is an embolus. Those multiple pinpoint hemorrhages that accumulation of blood under the skin. Remember, if you leave the blood pressure cuff on, I got you today, I wore longer sleeves. No, if you put the blood pressure cuff on and you do the blood pressure, but you leave it pumped up and you don't release it, when you take it off, the patient's going to have a little line of little bitty pinpoint red dots, and that is purpura. This is a malignant tumor of lymph nodes that resembles Hodgkin's disease. It is lymphosarcoma. This is a blood protein that carries oxygen in the body. That is hemoglobin. Hemo means red, globin is protein, all right? So hemoglobin. And this is the time it takes for a clot to form in a test tube. This is the long one. Coagulation time, all right? And the primary function of this is to fight infection. What cell fights infection? Leukocytes, right? You're right. Just say it out. Don't be afraid. This is a disease. It's excessive bleeding caused by a congenital lack of a clotting substance. Now, before you answer it, what's congenital mean? I told you yesterday. Remember, congenital means you're born with it. The opposite of that would be, what? Say it again. Right, it would be acquired. I know y'all didn't say that. It would be acquired, which is like acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It's something you get on your own, baby. Okay, but anyway, excessive bleeding is hemophilia. The time it takes now for a small puncture wound to be plugged. This is a shorter one. It's bleeding time. Now, coag time, which is what it's called. Coag time is about 15 minutes. Bleeding time, or BT, is about 5 minutes. And this is a malignant tumor that arises or comes up in the lymphatic tissue, such as lymph nodes and spleen. And this is Hodgkin's disease. Now, let me explain something to you about lymph nodes. If you look, I don't have any because I had them taken out, but I don't even have a flashlight. Cute red tongue. Look, say, okay, watch. Say and make sure you hold the tongue down. Breathe through your nose and you won't gag. You look in the back of the throat and you'll see not the thing hanging in the middle, that's your uvula, but on the sides. If you have not had your tonsils removed, you'll see this stuff that just looks like a tissue, little blobs of tissue hanging there. Those are the different types of tonsils that you have. That is one form of lymphatic tissue. You have lymphatic tissue throughout the body. You have it not only in the neck, and that's what the doctor's feeling for when you go to a doctor for an exam. They're feeling for, enlarged lymph nodes. You have lymph nodes under the arm. You have lymph nodes in the stomach. You have lymph nodes in the groin. You have them all over your body, all right? And that's because they help fight infection. Now, so anyway, we're going to get back to Hodgkin's disease. Now, this is an anticoagulant. It's found, look at that, this looks stupid. Anticoagulant that's found in your blood and my blood and tissue. And this is a anticoagulant that prevents the formation of new blood clots. And that is heparin. Our body makes heparin, and it can be made at a pharmaceutical place, all right? But the amount of heparin we have in our body is not enough to cause us any issues. It's simply there so it will stop blood clots from forming in our legs and every place else. So when you need heparin, let's say you're a stroke victim like my mother was, and her blood was very thick, it would clot. So they were giving her heparin, and they give it to you in the abdomen. After I had both of my hips removed, anytime they do surgery dealing with a bone, they always give you anticoagulant, and it was Lovenox, and I had to give them to myself in my stomach. They don't hurt, they just have a very short subcutaneous needle because they're not going into the muscle. All right, cupcakes, you better not come home with this one because I will send you to your room and smack you around. This is an acute. What the hell is acute? Oh, sorry. What's the opposite of acute? Not ugly. No, I heard that. Somebody said it. No. Acute means it's not chronic. Acute means short-lived, like the flu. But of course, when you have the flu, you don't feel like it's short-lived. You feel like, ugh. But acute is short-lived. Chronic is long-term. This is an acute infectious disease with enlarged lymph nodes and an enlarged spleen. Also, increased numbers of lymphocytes, monocytes, or hemoglobin. And this is the sucking face disease, mononucleosis. All right, I'm kidding around, but it's really nothing to play around with. I know it's called the kissing disease and all that kind of stuff, but when you start messing around with the lymph nodes and all that kind of stuff, you better be careful. All right, I want you to tell me what these combining forms mean. Now, a combining form, let me see if I can do this. A combining form is the beginning of the word and a /o. If I just had the beginning of the word, that would be the prefix. If I had the /o, that's the combining vowel. Put them together and it's the combining form, all right? Now, the beginning of the word is always going to tell you what part. So, if we have thrombocyte, that was neat, I did it pretty good. That means thrombo. Thrombo means clot. Hemato means blood. Mono, you ever heard this thing? Oh, we're going to go at it mano, one-on-one. It means one or singular. Immuno means protection. And toxo, like toxic, means poison. All right, let me show you what, that's about it. That's all we got, 33 questions in Premed, all right? So I don't want to overwhelm my ladies that are taking the exit exam tomorrow. And please don't worry about it. I mean, it's not a pass or fail. It just shows my supervisors how I'm teaching you, if you're learning anything. So if you don't pass it, I will kick your ass. No, it's not a pass or fail, but please try to do your best on it. It's only 50 questions, all right? Okay, now guess what? We're gonna go ahead and go over the intro review. Ooh, something in my eye. Intro review, all right? Okay, the difference between the systolic and diastolic pressure is called pulse pressure. Remember, all you do is take your systolic, which is 160, and your diastolic, which is 80, and you subtract them, and you're going to get the number 80, and that's going to be your pulse pressure, all right? Okay, what type of hypotension occurs when a patient has a sudden drop in blood pressure after rapidly changing positions from lying down to standing? It's standing should tell you it's straight. Orthostatic. Hypertension has been called the what? I'll give you the initials, SS. Silent killer, because it frequently has no symptoms, and the individual may go for a long period without knowing they have the problem. But let me tell you something, a lot of times there are symptoms. The person gets headaches, and I'm not talking just a general headache. Headaches, do you hear me? And I have hypertension, but it's well controlled with medication. All right. Thank you, Lord, on that one. It's well controlled. Ooh, that's a pretty light fixture. It's very well controlled with medication. All right. Like, I mean, like 100/50, whatever. But a lot of people, especially men, they don't want to go to the doctor. You'll finally tweak them into going to the doctor. They find out they have hypertension. The doctor writes them a nice script, really pretty, a nice prescription. They come home, throw it on the table. Well, you, their loved one, because you love them, are going to pick it up and take it to the pharmacy. You're going to get it filled, and you're going to come home and you're going to say, honey or daddy or uncle, whatever, grandpa, you got to take one of these twice a day. That's it. One pill twice a day. And they may start out one pill twice a day. Men don't want to take medicine. They will stop it without telling you. Now, I'm telling you this because my mother thought she knew better. She wasn't a man, she was a woman, but she thought she knew better and that she could play around with her medication. And she ended up paralyzed on the right side for 22 years. And my daddy, which I praise him, he's passed away, but he took care of her at home all that time. They even went to Europe. They went to Hawaii, and she was in a wheelchair, all right? So, anyway, not to get off on that one, but that is the silent killer. And I'm going to tell you, hypertension occurs more in the African American community than any other community. So you need to double whammy. Make sure you check yourself. Besides which, our diets. I mean, come on. If it's not fried, I'm not going to eat it. All right? All right. A patient with a bilateral mastectomy. That means they've had both breasts removed. On another site, such as the popliteal artery, must be used. And you got to use a thigh cuff. Why? Because you're checking the artery in back of the knee. A patient with an elevated blood pressure that's associated with a complication of pregnancy, okay, would be diagnosed with secondary hypertension. In other words, their hypertension is caused by something. What my mother had and what I have is called essential hypertension. When they told me that name, I was like, hypertension is not necessary. What the hell is it? Essential? That's exactly what they call it. That means there's no cause for it. All right? Hereditary. Atherosclerotic plaque can lead to hypertension. You bet your sweet bippy it can. It can narrow up those blood vessels. And remember, arteries, boom, 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 boom. All right? Okay. Secondary hypertension may be caused by renal disease. Right. The secondary, just what it means. Second, it's caused by something else. Syncope can occur when the patient has orthostatic hypotension. Yes, it can. Syncope means fainting. The assistant should roll up the patient's sleeve about 9 inches above. If you rolled my sleeve up, this is my elbow. If you rolled it up 9 inches above my elbow, you'd have my sleeve around my neck. No, you only need to roll it up maybe 2 to 3 inches. That's about it, all right? Okay, smoking a cigarette a few minutes before having the blood pressure measured, does it affect a person's blood pressure levels? True or false? Yes, it does. Blood pressures are usually taken with the patient either sitting or in the prone position. No, it's taken with them sitting. Now, if they have orthostatic, that's a different story. All right, we're talking blood pressure. All right, here we go. Oh, my word, I love it. Okay, the instrument used to measure blood pressure is the, wait, let me try this here. Say it again. Sphygmomanometer. And if you want to pronounce it so you can spell it, but don't ever say it like this, it's Sphygg, S-P-H, oh, wait, I gotta look, S-P-H-Y-G, Sphygg. Then you put manometer, but don't pronounce it like that. Okay, in a person, an adult with hypertension, the blood pressure that would be seen, in a person with hypotension, the blood pressure that would be seen would be the systolic, the top number, below 90, all right? systolic, the top number below 90. If a patient is diagnosed with secondary hypertension, this means hypertension is associated with another disease. As a blood pressure cuff is deflated, the last tapping sound you hear is the diastolic pressure. The stethoscope is placed over which artery when you're doing blood pressure? And that is the radial artery, right here, okay? Brachial artery. Sorry, brachial artery. Oh my God, I'm screwing you up. Right here. Just look it up and make sure. I know, it's goofy. Anyway, right here in the elbow, all right? Okay, as blood pressure cuff is deflated, now we did the last tapping sound, and that's diastolic. The first tapping sound is systolic, all right? Now, if the doctor is concerned that a patient may have orthostatic hypotension, the way you would check their blood pressure, with the cuff in place, you would take their blood pressure with the patient lying down. I know this is against the grain, but orthostatic. You'd have it lying down. Take the blood pressure and then immediately take it again after they stand up. And they may get lightheaded and all kinds of good stuff. All right, what is not a cardinal sign? There's three things on both hands: height, weight, and body mass index. Now, can you tell me what are cardinal signs? Temperature, pulse, respiration, and blood pressure. Those are the cardinal signs. If an adult is diagnosed with essential hypertension, the systolic pressure is 160 or over, all right? And the diastolic pressure is 100 or over, all right? Got it? Now, the rest of it is like this, cupcakes, and I didn't show you this, okay? You never saw me, you don't know me, and all that good stuff. Remember, every little line is 2. This is 40. That's 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58. That's where that line is, 60. And you're going to go all the way around. Don't forget to do this as part of the test on Thursday, all right? So, anybody got any answers? Because I don't have any questions. And again, I'm sorry about yesterday being so late, oh Lord. But anyway, I'm going to get off right now, and I'm going to try to upload, and you know how special I am with electronics. I'm going to try and upload it and send it to you. I'll text you when I do. I want to make sure that everybody knows this is the last week of the module, all right? And we're off next week, big 4th of July holiday. Yes. All right, cupcakes, I love you all. God bless, and I will see you soon.